Hello and welcome to session 3 of Think 304 Managerial Economics. In this session, we are going to be looking at market equilibrium. I'm very much aware that you are familiar with market equilibrium, but we are going to be doing this an applicable way. So we are going to be applying our principles in microeconomic theory to this particular topic. In the first session, we looked at the behavior of the consumer separately. And in the second session, we also considered the behavior of the producer separately. But remember, in the real market, the producer and the consumer are definitely going to be interacting. Now, through their interactions, sometimes, how much the consumer would want or would be willing to buy will be more than what the producers would be willing to put on the market for sale. Other times, how much producers would want to put on the market for sale would also exceed that of the consumers. But there will be one price at which how much consumers are willing to put on the market for sale is just equal to how much consumers are willing to buy. This is what we call the equilibrium price. Once we get to this price, we get to a state of rest and there is no tendency for anything to change unless an external shock occurs. So the key topic to be analyzed here is market equilibrium. Again, I advise you to refer to Baye and Prince, which is your basic text, and the title is Managerial Economics and Business Strategy, and we are still in chapter 2. Now, before we go on, I just want to distinguish this from what we know in microeconomics as far as market equilibrium is concerned. And so I'm going to be giving you a headline which is going to be helping us resolve a question that we have in the end. And basically, these are the sort of things that you are going to be meeting in your exam and in any questions that I may present to you. So it's not just enough knowing that the factors that influence demand are own price, price of related products, etc., or the factors that influence supply are own price, technology, etc. It's your ability to apply those factors when you are given a real life situation is what would distinguish you from a microeconomic student. So this is how the headline goes. I took this headline from your main text. You can refer to it. Following increased demand for organic dairy products and Guernsey dairy products in particular, Lakeham Creamery, a small but rapidly growing company that supplies ice cream to major stores in London and East Anglia, has initiated plans to expand its Norfolk County ice cream selections by introducing organic ice cream made entirely from imported Guernsey milk and cream. Lakeham Creamery's current workforce is not large enough to produce the new ice cream selections. As a result, Nigel Stewart, the company's human resource director, has taken proper measures by interviewing a large number of candidates in an attempt to increase the company's workforce by 25%. The company owner, Mary Hutchins, while watching the BBC News, learned that weather conditions which involved strong winds, heavy rain, and poor crop harvesting resulted in a drastic reduction in cattle feed, prompting Guernsey Dairy, the primary dairy producer in the British Channel island of Guernsey, to suspend its production of organic milk. Mary immediately contacted Nigel to ask him to postpone the company's plans to increase the workforce. Did Mary make the right call? We'll be able to provide useful answers at the end of this session. In the meantime, I ask you to start thinking carefully about this. So what's market equilibrium? Market equilibrium would occur when there's no tendency for the price to rise or fall. It's definitely a state of rest, which means that when we draw the demand curve and we draw the supply curve, the point where they intersect is what we would term the equilibrium point. If we trace it to the price axis, we would have the equilibrium price. And then when we trace it to the quantity axis, we have the equilibrium quantity. Now, applying this mathematically would mean that if we have a demand equation, which is given by the second equation, and then we have a supply equation, which is given by the first equation. Obviously, you should understand why the first equation is the supply equation and the second is the demand. Because with demand, there's a negative relationship between price and quantity. And with supply, there's a positive relationship between price and quantity. We'll be able to find the equilibrium price and quantity. We have said that at equilibrium, how much consumers are willing to purchase is just equal to how much producers are willing to put on the market for sale. And in equilibrium, the quantity supplied would therefore be equal to the quantity demanded. And so if we equate the supply equation to the demand equation, we'll be able to find the equilibrium price and quantity. So we expect that our equilibrium price would be 22.07 as far as this question is concerned, and our equilibrium quantity would be equal to 76.8 as far as this is concerned. Now, when I was discussing market equilibrium, I said that it's a state of rest. So once you get there, there's no tendency for anything to change. There's no tendency for price to change once you're in equilibrium. But in the real world, we tend to see that prices change. So in talking about this bottle of water, it's actually 1 cedi now, the very small bottle, but it's not just been 1 cedi since they started production. It started from 50 pesos and it moved to 70 pesos and it's now roughly about 1 cedi. So why do we see prices changing in the real world? Remember that once the prices change in the real world, we get to another equilibrium price, and there would not be any tendency for any price to change or for the price to change unless an external shock occurs. So what actually causes prices to change in the real world? One, any factor that causes demand to change apart from the own price of the product can cause the price of the equilibrium price to change. So we talk about price of related products, we talk about the income of the consumer, we talk about the market size. Any other factor apart from the own price of the product that would cause demand to change would actually cause the price to change. So for instance, if we're thinking about the recent increments in the incomes of consumers coming from the increments in the wages of civil servants, then that obviously is going to be causing the incomes of consumers to increase. If we're dealing with normal goods, then an increase in the income of the consumer will shift the demand curve broadly to the right. And that would obviously cause the price to increase and the quantity that is being supplied or that is being put on the markets for sale or demanded to also increase. So we have an increase in the price of a product, and then we see that quantity is also increasing. When this happens, we get to a new equilibrium point. So you see that a factor that has caused or that causes demand to shift, or the demand curve to shift broadly to the right, has caused the equilibrium price to change. Another thing that would cause price to change in the real world is any factor which causes supply to change apart from the price, the own price of the product. So if we see technology changing, if we see the price of related products changing, and any other factor that influences the price of the product apart from the own price of the product changing, then we would see that the equilibrium price would change and the equilibrium quantity might also change. So typical example, say we have severe weather that destroys the output of a farmer. So say the farmer was producing tomatoes. We have severe weather conditions, and that destroys the production of tomatoes. We are obviously going to be finding supply reducing. Now, if we find supply reducing, then there will be a bodily shift of the supply curve to the left. When the supply curve shifts bodily to the left, we're going to be finding price increasing, and then the quantity that is being supplied reducing. So with this, we have seen that the price of the equilibrium price has increased. Another thing that would cause the equilibrium price to change is having both a factor that causes the supply curve to shift bodily to the left or to the right, changing, or the demand curve shifting bodily to the left or to the right, changing. So here, if you find any of the factors that influence demand, both demand and supply, apart from the own price of the product, changing simultaneously or changing at the same time, then you find the equilibrium price. You can find the equilibrium price changing as well. Sorry. Back to answering the headline question. The question asks whether Mary made the right call. Using the principles that we learned in session 1, session 2, and session 3, we would be able to answer this question. Mary realized that the suspension of organic milk production would lead to a higher price of milk. Remember, milk is also a key input in the production of ice cream. So since milk is a key input in the production of ice cream, an increase in the price of milk will lead to a decrease in the market supply of ice cream. As a result, the quantity of ice cream sold in the market falls as the equilibrium changes, which means that Mary made the right call. If the quantity of ice cream is going to fall, there's no reason why we need to be able to employ more people. So indeed, Mary made the right call. You can use your graphs, demand and supply curve, and shift them around to be able to arrive at the answer I've given to you. A piece of advice that I'll give to you as far as this topic is concerned, is that whenever you are answering questions like these, you don't assume that you can just look at it and answer them. Use your graphs to be able to arrive at the answer. And this applies especially to when you have simultaneous changes in demand and supply. Sometimes when you just look at it, you think that the price would rise or the quantity would rise or fall. It's only when you draw the diagrams and then you make sound analysis based on the diagrams that you realize exactly what happens to the equilibrium price and quantity. Thank you for your attention, and see you in the next session.